Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. And
it seems we're having certain technical difficulties from Mexico. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As we do every week, we will be discussing certain common topics with regard to the devotee community. So until the technical difficulties in Mexico are resolved, we will just proceed ahead with our internal discussion. It is my understanding from many devotees that the recent court decision in New Delhi, India, in the Supreme Court of India favoring ISKCON Bangalore has been the subject of many, many discussions all over the world. As a matter of fact, last night I got an invitation to join a podcast from Madhu Pandit himself where they were discussing the various issues related specifically in India, but all over the world, to the effect what happened when a guru falls down, which is a topic which has been discussed by many, many devotees for many, many years. Now, we do know one guru who never fell down and who never will fall down. That is His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Now, the ongoing controversy with regard to initiation is still raging on. Interestingly, the other day on Facebook, I had an exchange with a devotee who was quoting me different passages from Srila Prabhupada, from 1972, from Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavatam, and also from various conversations with His Divine Grace himself, where he was mentioning that these disciples are being trained, and in the future, they may also become gurus. When I pointed out to this devotee that these are all very nice, but when we deal with the events of 1977, specifically in the last few months of Srila Prabhupada's manifested presence between April of 1977 and 14th of November 1977, when Srila Prabhupada ended his manifested presence on this planet, we are dealing with various statements, and I'm somewhat still mystified by so many devotees who tend to misinterpret various statements of Srila Prabhupada. Here's what I'm referring to, and you've probably heard that term before, cherry picking. Various devotees have become very expert at picking statements from Srila Prabhupada out of context to try to satisfy a political agenda. So they will quote, oh, Prabhupada said, disciple of my disciple. That means this, that means that. And I usually reply, why are you avoiding the context of Srila Prabhupada's statement? The context meaning when I order. Why are these words constantly being left out of any conversation from those who are trying to push forward a political agenda? Because when that sentence is examined and discussed, no one in the last 47 or 48 years has been able to prove factually any record or demonstrate any record where Srila Prabhupada ever appointed, nominated, or chose or selected any of his disciples as initiating spiritual masters or initiating acharyas, or the technical Sanskrit term Diksha Gurus, because it does not exist. Simple as that. Let's go back to the studio with you, Vishwakarma in Yantopec, Mexico. I hope your technical difficulties have been resolved. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you very much. A very appropriate opening as well. And welcome everyone to today's reading and discussion of Bhagavad Gita as it is. My computer crashed just as I was coming on the air. And so I had to go through all the initialing and rebooting to get back here. But I'm back and very happy to be here. And I want to congratulate all of you on your participation in this weekly sadhana program, because that's what it is. It's a regular opportunity for us to associate with each other and hear the philosophy of Srila Prabhupada without any motive or any purpose outside of information. Because a lot of times people do things for personal motivation, yes, and at the same time, they deceive. They deceive people by words, and this is common in many circles in this world, especially in the political arena. In Canada and America, there's a lot of deception that goes on. And this deception is because the people are not actually doing what they say. They're hypocrites. And in spiritual circles, it's called sahajya. Are you familiar with that term, sahajya, Veronica? Have you heard that term before, sahajya? Okay, what we'll do is I'm going to go to a section in the program of where Prabhupada describes sahajya so that we can get an idea of how people are imitating. The sahajya tendency is to take everything cheaply. Don't do this, said Prabhupada. And you will become a sahajya and everything will be ruined. Prabhupada. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, here is a disciple of Kali. He has tilak and he has kanti, and he's doing this nonsense. So we see a lot of people. I'm not going to highlight the faults of other people. I'm just saying when you study the history of this society, you see that many people that wear the dress of a sannyasi externally are accepting praise and worship, but in the back room, they're engaged in all kinds of nefarious activities. And as a result, in due course, the truth comes out and we see it. And it's bad to do that. It's very bad spiritually to deceive sincere followers. And that's sahajya. An imposter, a hypocrite. Prabhupada, this will happen, sahajya, devotee, posing himself as a big learned man. Okay. Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj used to say, when our men will be sahajya, he will be more dangerous. Why? Because of deception. Proposing as one thing and then pretending to be another thing, and in the reality, he's not anything. For example, we have Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. In the Guru system, in order for a person to accept disciples, it is recommended that he be situated on the Uttama platform. But in this particular current state of affairs, a lot of people are posing as Uttama Adhikari. They're not actually qualified to take that role of Diksha Guru as Uttama Adhikari, sahajya. Devotee, posing himself as a big learned man. Prabhupada, devotee, our own men, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, When our men become Sahaja, or they'll be more dangerous. So our men becoming, some of them, Sahajiyas, this very word he said, when our men will be Sahaja, will be more dangerous. And here's a conversation from Bhubaneswar in January 24th, 1977. This Sahajiya Vada, I'm sorry, it's a little bit small on the screen, Prabhu, so that's why I'm straining. He is thinking, oh, I've become liberated. I don't require any direction of my guru. I'm liberated. Then he is a rascal. Why this Gaudiya Math failed? Because they tried to become more than guru. He, before passing away, he gave all direction and never said that this man should be the next Acharya. But these people, just after his passing away, they began to fight who shall be Acharya. This is the failure. So see that. And I've been studying about it this week. And one point, and a lot of people, they say, well, how come you mention names? Well, it's hard to not mention the name of a person that commits an offense like this, of Sahajiyism. And I'm going to give the example of Gopal Krishna, my godbrother, who was the GBC in Canada for years, and carried on as a Sahajiya, very much so, pretending to be a guru. In fact, I was the key person that was instrumental in getting him the post of guru when they were electing them, and he became the 12th guru. Actually, after he got his sannyasi initiation, I was told by Gaudiya Prabhu, who was in the room in New Vrindavan, that he went to Kirtananda after the initiation and asked him, okay, how can I become a guru now? First thing that he wanted to do was become guru. So that was in line with what Prabhupada was saying, kill guru, become guru. And most demonstratively, whatever the example is, when he installed that Vyasasan Ram Raghava beside Prabhupada, and it was bigger than Prabhupada's Vyasasan, and the picture's there. Sahajiya moves. It's really hard to read this now. Maybe you could read it for me.
I'm not presenting anymore. It's somebody else.
Oh, let's see. I can't. It's only half the page. Rupa Goswami, it's only half the page. Okay. Ekanta Bhakti means unalloyed devotion. This is the secret of devotional life. Even God is not physically present. A devotee can very much be exalted by devotional service. This is the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because the Sahajiya means persons who take things very easily according to his sense of conception or manufactured. They are called Sahajiyas. But these Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the devotees following the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are not Sahajiya. They are devotees of Adhokshaja, beyond the sense perception. Still, they are devotee. This is the secret of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, beyond the sense perception, just like the Goswamis. They were living at Vrindavan, and what sort of thing? Simply in separation and search. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also taught us that. He was searching, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? And feeling separation, just like you feel sometimes with your lover separation, and you search. That is our process. Always feeling separation from Krishna and trying to search out. This is ekanta. This is explained here. Ekanta Bhakya Bhagavati Ahokshaja. Ahokshaja is beyond my conception. Still, my devotion is unalloyed, not that I cannot see where is God. Oh, what is devotion? Just try to understand. It appears to be contradictory because foolish people say, if you cannot see God, where is the question of devotion? You want to serve God, but if you cannot see God, how can you serve? Therefore, particularly the word is used, ekanta bhakya bhagavati rahokshaja. That is the process. The sahajya means the blissful dealings, transcendental spiritual dealings of gopis and Krishna. They take it as material. They are condemned. So some detailed information. And one last point before we move ahead. Recently, one of our godbrothers, Jayadvaita, has released a new enlarged, revised edition of the Bhagavad Gita. And I'll show the picture next time of this particular edition. Now, this means that he's changed many, many things in the book. For example, now they've changed Ram Raghava, the title for the 6th chapter, from Sankhya Yoga to some other yoga. This is concoction. This is Sahajism. I put up a post, everyone, on the Prabhupada Disciples Association Facebook page, and you can go there. There's lots of great posts that are being put there by our membership. And this explains about a devotee like him who, due to his own inefficiencies or inabilities, is trying to project himself as a great scholar and a great transcendentalist on the level of Srila Prabhupada, so much so that he's changing Prabhupada's teachings, even though he does not have the realization. Now, someone could say to me, why would you say that? Why would you expose this reality to everyone? Why do you speak about it? Because the truth should be spoken. This deception, this deviation by these people is not for the sincere seekers of truth, those that understand that Prabhupada did not want his books to be changed, ever. So that today at our program, we can hear the wonderful transcendental messages of Srila Prabhupada from, they changed the cover, by the way, from this Bhagavad Gita. If you look at the new Bhagavad Gita, it's deception, it's deviation. They've got some kind of Sanskrit term at the front, and they've manipulated the words. It's all calculated for indoctrination, not enlightenment and spiritual realization. This is the business of the Sahajya. That's it. So the question may be brought up, well, why do people listen to this? Why do they, when there's so much proof that this guru system is false, when there is so much evidence and so much fall down? For example, there in the posts you'll see there are over 50 people that have categorically fallen down from their Diksha Guru position, and still people accept it. Because somehow or other in this deception that they're under, they've been poisoned. And this is the reality of it. You're poisoned, and that infection is in your consciousness, and it just does not go away. And this is not just in the ISKCON situation. No, this is a situation that's all pervasive in many fields, that people are being deceived, they're being indoctrinated, and they can't give it up. So people continue to argue with us. Oh, well, how do you know that the Ritvik system is valid? How do you know that? First of all, they refer to people like us as Ritviks. Ritvikism, these types of words which do not represent what we preach and what we explain to others. How Prabhupada is present in his Vani incarnation, and we're representing him as his disciples to help other people become Prabhupada disciples based on the Vani incarnation that Prabhupada is still living with us in sound. Very simple point, but they will not give up this misconception, this poison that's entered their mind, and they carry on with their state of confusion. And that's all it is. And are we mad at them? No, we're not mad at them. We are concerned about them, but we are not going to spend our time over and over trying to explain to people that have been completely bewildered by this indoctrination program the truth, because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it, and this is the problem. They're not interested, and the truth will set us free. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava with Srila Prabhupada leading, and then we'll have a reading and discussion with Yashoda Nandana today from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, unchanged, unedited, and the pure message of Lord Krishna through the lips of the pure devotee, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Amuspat Paramahansa Parivrajalacharya Sattva Smadhati Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktamani Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Mokh Gopinath Sam Khund Radha Khund Giri Goldhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय गुरु द्वारका धाम की जय स्वामी तो भक्तविंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरी टू द ऑल ग्लोरी टू द थैंक यू वेरी मच
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Tato Jayam Mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Nara Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This reading has been conducted on the basis of the original 1972 Macmillan edition of the Bhagavad Gita. All English synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses which were introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself in early 1966 in New York when he started his lecturing program on Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadada, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Oh, my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we will proceed with our verse for today. We are reading, I think we read that last week. I think we're at text number 16. Bahir antasya bhutanam acharam charame vacha sukshatvat tata vigneyam dhurashtam chantike chatat. Bahihi, outside. Antaha, inside. Cha, also. Bhutanam, of all living entities. Acharam, not moving. Charam, moving. Eva, also. Cha, and. Sukshmatvat, on account of being subtle. Tat, that. Avigneyam, unknowable. Durastam, far away. Cha antike, what is that cracking?
Yashodananda, we cannot hear you, Prabhu.
Yeah, he seems to have a technical defect in the feed. Ram Raghava, could you carry on and read the purport for us?
Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Vedic literature, we understand that Narayan, the Supreme Person, is residing both outside and inside of every living entity. He is present both in the spiritual and material world. Although he is far, far away, still he is near to us. These are the statements of Vedic literature. Asino durang brajati shayano yati sarvataha. And because he is always engaged in transcendental bliss, we cannot understand how he is enjoying his full opulence. We cannot see or understand with these material senses. Did I hear Yashodananda Prabhu? No. Therefore, in the Vedic language...
Is the problem resolved?
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, we can
Prabhuji,
see you.
we can hear you, see you.
And because he's always engaged in transcendental bliss, we cannot understand how he's enjoying his full opulence. We cannot see or understand with these material senses. Therefore, in the Vedic language, it is said that to understand him, our material mind and senses cannot act. But one who has purified his mind and senses by practicing Krishna consciousness in devotional service can see him constantly. It is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that the devotee who has developed love for the Supreme God can see him always without cessation. And it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text 54, that he can be seen and understood only by devotional service. Bhaktya tva ananyaya shakyaha. Text number 17. Avibhaktam chabuteshu vibhaktam nivachastitam bhuta bhartri chatadnyayam grashishnu prabhavishnu cha avibhaktam without division, cha also, bhuteshu in every living being, vibhaktam divided, iva as if, cha also, stitam situated, bhuta bhartri maintainer of all living entities, cha also, tat that, nyayam to be understood, grashishnu devours, prabhavishnu develops, cha also. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Although the Supersoul appears to be divided, he is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. Purport by his divine grace. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as the Supersoul. Does that mean that he has become divided? No, actually he is one. The example is given of the sun. The sun and the meridian is situated in its place. But if one goes for 5,000 miles in all directions and asks, where is the sun? Everyone will say that it is shining on his head. In the Vedic literature, this example is given to show that although he is undivided, he is situated as if divided. Also, it is said in Vedic literature that one Vishnu is present everywhere by his omnipotence, just as the sun appears in many places to many persons. And the Supreme Lord, although the maintainer of every living entity, devours everything at the time of annihilation. This was confirmed in the 11th chapter when the Lord said that he has come to devour all the warriors assembled at Kurukshetra. He also mentions that in the form of time, he devours also. He is the annihilator, the killer of all. When there is creation, He develops all from their original state, and at the time of annihilation, he devours them. The Vedic hymns confirm the fact that he is the origin of all living entities and the rest of all. After creation, everything rests in his omnipotence, and after annihilation, everything again returns to rest in him. These are the confirmations of Vedic hymns. Yato vayimani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhishambhishanti, tad brahma tad vijinya satsva. Taittiriya Upanishad 3:1. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasme Shigurave Namaham Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danter Idam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Satkaromi Swam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the various Vedic literatures, such as the Upanishads, we see so many different descriptions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahman. The Bhagavad Gita gives us so many detailed explanations of the unique position of the Personality of Godhead. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited South India in Kerala, he obtained a copy of the Brahma Samhita, the 5th chapter. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a description of how, what is that cracking sound? Is that just my computer or something else? There's constant crackling sound.
I don't believe anybody else is hearing, Prabhu. Could be just yours.
In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described there is no higher scripture than the Brahma Samhita. And all the Siddhanta of Vaishnavism is explained there. Now, it is not complicated to understand. Right in the beginning of the Brahma Samhita, in the 5th chapter, the 1st verse, Lord Brahma himself explained the position of Lord Krishna. Ishvaraha Parama Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. This is a very nice verse which summarizes the unique special position of Lord Krishna. He is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the cause of all causes. His name is Govinda. And as we study the description of the verses, specifically from verse number 29 in the 5th chapter, we see a beautiful description of the abode of Lord Krishna, the form of Lord Krishna, the activities of Lord Krishna, the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and the transcendental personality of Krishna, although he's situated in one place in Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuto. There's description. Our Lord Krishna is always in Goloka Vrindavan, but yet is also everywhere. So this is a very important point. The impersonalists have difficulty to understand how a person can be in one place and simultaneously everywhere at the same time. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is telling us. There are so many very nice descriptions. It says here, although the Supersoul appears to be divided, he is never divided. The Sanskrit word is avibhaktam. He is situated as one, although he is the maintainer of every living entity. It is to be understood that he devours and develops all. So these conversations, these descriptions by Lord Krishna are very important. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of the sun. Can you put it back on the screen there? Can somebody put it back on the screen, please? In the first paragraph of this purport, Srila Prabhupada explained
Yashodharana Prabhu, your voice. We can't hear you.
Okay, let's carry on and read the purport, Ram Raghava, for Yashoda until his voice comes back.
Okay. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as the Supersoul. Does that mean he has become divided? No. Actually, he is one. The example is given of the sun. The sun at the meridian.
Dharmasya tattam nihitam guhayam. In the Mahabharata, it is described that the tattva, the conclusive truth regarding spiritual or religious knowledge, is hidden. It is very, very difficult to understand. Well, if it's difficult to understand, how do we understand it? Mahajano.
He must be having an unstable internet right now. He keeps coming in and out, and the crackling noise which he's talking about could be because of his internet, which is unstable.
Yeah. Let's see if he can get back on. And then we'll figure out how to progress into the class.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Now we can hear you.
What's
Prabhu.
happening, Prabhu, is Nilesh Sharma was saying it might be your internet.
Mm-hmm.
It could be your technology. Just carry on. We'll try to, deal with it. It's
Okay.
the way of the modern world. Go ahead.
Okay. Just like in the Sri Ishopanishad, also sometimes called Ishabhasya Upanishad, there's description, Javani Grahito, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's in one place and he walks everywhere. He is the small, Anor Aniyan, he is the smaller of the smallest, and he is the greater of the greatest. He has so many qualities which sometimes seem inconceivable. How to understand this? This can only be understood by hearing from a realized authority, from a realized personality, a dhira. We see in the Ishopanishad, there is description, iti shushrumadhiranam. One should hear from one who is a dhira, one who is not disturbed by the whirlpool of material duality. In our case, that is Srila Prabhupada. It's interesting when we see some of the discussions going on the internet that some devotees tend to get very emotional. They get very emotional up to the point of engaging in various illogical, unreasonable arguments and going to the insult level, to the castigating level, the offending level. There's no need to insult anyone when discussing philosophical issues. When somebody has to go down to the level of the motive, passion, and ignorance to try to discuss philosophical issues, that means they've not understood things very clearly. Why do we say this? Because we see in the writings of the great acharyas, the great Vaishnavacharyas and great personalities, they do not engage in personal attacks and scathing critique of other persons. They deal with the philosophical issues. And when somebody avoids the philosophical issues or distorts the philosophical issues, that means they're not understanding the issue. They have some personal motivation which is preventing them from clearly understanding what is being said and what is being discussed. That is why Prabhupada wrote his purports in the Bhagavad Gita. When we read the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, what is Srila Prabhupada telling us? He's describing how in the beginning, when he started this venture of writing his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, there are hundreds of commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, but hardly any of them deal with the real spirit of Bhagavad Gita, because most of them are written by impersonalists or Mayavadis. One has to understand the Bhagavad Gita according to the author of Bhagavad Gita. Then the real mystery of Bhagavad Gita, the real essence of Bhagavad Gita comes out. Here's very nice here from the introduction. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita-upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishads in Vedic literature. Of course, there are many commentaries in English on the Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. This present edition can be explained in the following way. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English. But as far as I have seen, not only in America, but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative, because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinions without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the directions given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod. And certainly here, Bhagavan designates Lord Sri Krishna as a great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord himself also established himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita, It is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavata Purana, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of God himself. Which brings me to the point, something that Vishwakarma Prabhu has been discussing and myself. And we keep coming back to this point. Devotees should be very, very careful not to be misled, not to be confused, and not to be victimized by the false propaganda of individuals with motivation, with personal motivation. Because we see in the discussions going on all over the world on the internet, especially on Facebook, there's a lot of misrepresentation of Srila Prabhupada's statements. There's a lot of confusion because people do not take Srila Prabhupada's words as he is giving them. Why is it that when people discuss the issue of initiation in Srila Prabhupada society, practically everybody I've seen avoids the words, when I order? Why are they avoiding? It's simple. They know very well that Prabhupada did not give any specific order for any specific disciples to be Diksha Gurus. That is a fabrication. What to speak of the historical context of that conversation? Why is it that this conversation was never brought in front of all the devotees to be discussed in 1978 at the first Mayapur festival? Why is it that the day after this conversation was spoken on the 29th of May, 1977, one of the individuals in that conversation sent a letter to all the temple presidents all over the world and avoided mentioning anything about initiation? Oh, really? Why? What kind of secret were they trying to hide? Why did the late secretary in 1980 in Topanga Canyon, California, admitted, you cannot show me anywhere in any tape or any writing where Prabhupada say appoint these people as gurus? It is a myth, fabrication. That's why we keep saying, do not be misled by this false propaganda. Thank
Some technical difficulties today, but at the same time, we're getting a message, and thank you very much. We'll carry on with the reading and discussion with our group. And I wanted to say that this idea of conspiracy, these, even in the society that we live in, there's conspiracy theories. And people generally think they're concocted. We just made that up. But in the particular case of spiritual life, there are facts. And it's important for everybody in this group to study carefully all the facts. So you can read the pastimes of Krishna. Even within the pastimes of Krishna, Prabhupada in his Bhagavatam reveals the truth of the matter to everybody in his purports. Yes. And he is trying to warn us in his various instructions to avoid being misled, always, because that is the key to spiritual advancement. For example, if you read the Nectar of Instruction, and I hope all of you have, there it explains in detail the difference between Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Kanishta Adhikari. Now, people should know the difference between the three aspects of a devotee's advancement. And people moving from the neophyte platform have to study this up to a more mature realization and understanding through practice. You have to practice this process to get vijnanam, realization. It's not intellectual. This is a devotional process. And the reason we're explaining about this for everyone is because the situation is that people who are sincere, like all of you, get affected, or we can all be affected by people that are posing, posturing, and pretending to be advanced. And you can see today's readings, how informative it was. Reading the purports, reading the explanations of the spiritual realm, the mysteries of creationism, how advanced that is. How transcendentally revealing these literatures are. And it's to our advantage to take shelter of them throughout the week. Okay? Not just on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, but enjoy the literatures throughout the week and absorb yourself in transcendental thoughts of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, and our spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, His Divine Grace. Because we have a new section, Veronica, we have a new section in our programming, which is the review of the unauthorized biography of Srila Prabhupada by Steve from Gita Nagari. This fellow undertook this for whatever reason because he felt he was authorized to do that because of some academic achievements he had achieved. But he's an imposter. He is a fraud. And how can a fraudulent person explain properly the position of a transcendental person like Srila Prabhupada? He can't. And therefore, when we do this next section of our program, which is the review, and I hope Yashodananda has a connection. When we do this review, we'll see that this person explains Prabhupada from a mundane point of view. And it was reviewed like that people like this professor from Chicago described Prabhupada as a very human person with human traits. Big mistake. And this is misrepresentation of truth by a neophyte. He is worse than a neophyte because he's motivated from a material platform to become guru and kill guru. That's what this is about. And it does do it in this expose. We do expose it in this expose of this new section of our program, the review of the unauthorized biography of Srila Prabhupada by Steve from Gita Nagari. Yashodananda, let's go forward with that. I'm eager to get the information. Haribo.
So we're continuing our review of the Lilamrita, the so-called biography of Srila Prabhupada. This is called Lilamrita Review, part number 3, on page number 12 in the bottom. Srila Prabhupada explains from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 17, one who is, however, taking pleasure in the self, who is illumined in the self, who rejoices in and is satisfied with the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Then Srila Prabhupada explains from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 18, a self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and except activities in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada further explains in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 20, kings like Janaka and others were all self-realized souls. Consequently, they had no obligation to perform the prescribed duties of the Vedas. Nonetheless, they perform all prescribed activities just to set examples for the people in general. Although one who is situated in Krishna consciousness may not have any interest in the world, he still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. The Lilamrita is fully dependent on Krishna, but the Lilamrita speculates that his divine grace was also dependent on conditioned souls. It says he was dependent on Mayavadi. From Lilamrita, book number 2, page 25. A mendicant, Prabhupada was temporarily dependent on the goodwill of his Mayavadi acquaintance, with whom he regularly conversed and from whom he accepted shelter. It says he was dependent on karmis. From Lilamrita, book number 2, page 48. Now his last hope was Sripadam Singanya. He was Prabhupada's final hope. From Lilamrita, book number 2, page 97. He decided to phone Carl Jurgens and ask him to help. Hearing Swami's voice on the phone, it was an emergency. From Lilamrita, page 61, it says he was dependent on followers. Robert Nelson couldn't give Prabhupada the kind of assistance he needed. Lilamrita, book number 1, page 97. It says he was dependent on godbrothers. As the Gaudiya broke down, he was also affected. Under the present circumstances, how could he carry out his spiritual master's order to preach? Previously, the main obstacle to his preaching had been family commitments, but now the obstacles were compounded. Now he had to wait helplessly for the outcome of this struggle. To the contrary, his divine grace states on a Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 6, text number 14. Our duty, therefore, is to execute devotional service sincerely under the guidance of the spiritual master. Krishna, by his grace, will supply whatever we need in executing our devotional service. In the Krishna consciousness movement, we simply have to execute the order of Krishna and Guru. Then all necessities will be supplied by Krishna, even if we do not ask for them. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Very educational, Krishna consciousness, and understanding the principles of Guru Tattva. This is a very significant opportunity for us to delve into these mysteries of spiritual life, because it is, for many people, a mystery. They can't figure it out. And here we see that Prabhupada is being minimized. And this minimization is a mistake for his disciples. We should never minimize Prabhupada's position. And when you read his books, Vijaya Pandit, you see how glorious they are, how revealing they are. And it opens up the window of transcendental knowledge to the spiritual world, to Goloka Vrindavan. Can an ordinary soul do that? No. The principle of transparent via media is the principle by which we base our the understanding of Vani incarnation, that Prabhupada is simply an instrument for Krishna to speak about the transcendental world, which we are privileged to get information on. Just think about our lives. We live in this material world. We live in a body. This material body is a place of misery, different types of trouble, always. And we all experience that every day. Adi Bhautika, Adi Devaka, Adi Atmaka. The miseries caused by our own body and mind. Old age is a problem. Disease is a problem. Distress is a problem. We're bombarded by that. We're bombarded by the problems of other living entities. Yes, we are. Family. Now, someone would say, my family, they're my support. Maybe not. Actually, there's always conflict in many families. They're constantly arguing and fighting in a particular situation. When a person passes away, a lot of times the family, they argue about the will, where the money will go, and they become enemies. And then there's miseries caused by the material nature itself in the form of natural catastrophes. And we're being onslaughted like by them, like in Florida recently. If you recall, there was those huge natural disasters. And so many people suffered. And FEMA was there. There was all kinds of controversy. They're not giving money. They are giving money, like this and that. We're bombarded by the material nature, but we think we'll be happy. Know it's for certain, Sage Prabhupada says to Maharaj Nimi, there is no happiness in this world. You can think that you can be happy. But happiness and distress, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of the summer and winter seasons. And they arise only due to sense perception, Krishna explains in the 2nd chapter, and one should learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Why? Because we are not this body. Now, is it easy to understand that? No. The layers of false ego, misconception, bewilderment are deep. We've been in this material world. How long have we been here? Can someone take a guess? How long have you been here, Rochisha Devi Dasi? Time immemorial. Now, can we understand that? It's difficult. Time immemorial, even to understand the term time immemorial is beyond our conception, because we look at time in terms of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. We don't look at time as eternal. We look at time on the relative material platform that we're in. That's the reality of this situation. So rising up out of this illusion, we need to chant the holy name of Krishna and to hear from the pure devotee spiritual master. And this is the formula of success. It's a disease. The formula of success is constant focus on transcendental activity given to us from the pure devotee, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It's a formula. You're diseased. Now, someone could say, well, I'm not diseased. Well, that's because they're in illusion. Everybody is in disease. Look at recently this Joe Biden in America, if you follow that situation. They just discovered he's got prostate cancer at an advanced stage and death is near. But yet they lied. Oh, he's in good health. He was senile. It was apparent when he was conducting his affairs as the president, but he didn't know if he was going left or right. He didn't know if he could walk up or walk down the stairs without falling and tripping, or riding a bicycle and falling on his head. This senile man was the president of the United States. That's insanity. That's misinformation. And that same type of insanity is now operating in the ISKCON group with these people that perpetrate themselves as bona fide spiritual masters. This is a colossal hoax, a fraud, and people are mad at us. Oh yes, okay, so be mad at us, that's all right. Because the truth hurts, doesn't it? And this is the fact of the matter. And you know, I'm going to end off and we'll go to the panel. I keep on asking people to reach out to us to discuss it on many forums. Please, just let's talk. We should have dialogue. Dissension is a natural thing that happens in any group in this world. But the way you resolve it is not by violence or murder or any kind of financial punishment. The way to resolve an issue is to discuss it and try to use your brain, if you've got any brains, try to get a solution to the problem. Why is it that none of our God brothers will join us in these discussions? Why? We're not after anybody. We want to discuss these topics so that everybody gets a clear understanding of what is the truth. And we're going to move forward into the panel. I see that our God brother has joined us today from Florida, somewhere in Florida. Maybe he's there, or obviously you're not in your car. I can see the picture there. Neela Shama, go ahead about Sahajism.
Hare Krishna.
Whatever you want to talk about, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
You know, it is very interesting. It is very interesting that since the Supreme Court ruling in India, which has happened, there's a lot of to and fro which is going on between ISKCON Bangalore and the other groups, and now the main issue of the Guru issue is which is discussed. So I have a question for Yashanandan Prabhu, but before I do that, I want to share something. I wonder if you can allow me to share Ramaragha Prabhu. I've requested that for some time now. I can't share my screen. If you can allow me. Okay, while he does that, let me see if it's now. Yeah, it's possible now. So here we go. So, I was reading the Nectar of Devotion yesterday, and I came across this quote in chapter 30 of Nectar of Devotion, further symptoms of ecstatic love explained. And I want to highlight this particular paragraph where we are reading from the so-called autobiography of Srila Prabhupada, that what is a person who is called Dhriti? Dhriti, what is it Dhriti called? This particular word, Dhriti. When a person is fully satisfied due to attaining knowledge, transcending all distress, or achieving his desired goal of life in transcendental devotional service to God, at that time his state of endurance or steady mind is called Dhriti. At this stage, one is not perturbed by any amount of loss, nor does anything appear to be unachieved by him. You see, this is so very important that we understand what Prabhupada's position is, that he is installing into us this dhriti, this determination. And that is why it is said that, and his very famous quote, which he says, is that in Krishna consciousness, both success and failure are glorified, because there's nothing which, we can attribute that we did this is because of me. It is only because of our grace of our spiritual master and Krishna. So the idea behind this is that whether we are any kind of material loss or material gain has nothing to do at the transcendental platform. And this Dhriti kind of explains us. So Prabhupada going through certain emotions, which is explained in this unauthorized autobiography, again, is completely nonsense, because if you read Srila Prabhupada's original books, without them being changed, this concept can be very clear. Coming to the question I have for Yashodanand Prabhu, is that when you follow the fake gurus, you see how the 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 fall down occurs more and more. There is this Prabhu called Amogalila Prabhu in India, who in Hindi he makes fun of that. Oh, Prabhupada, we can ask Prabhupada, and I'm just translating it, that he's in Vigraha form. How can he answer? He cannot answer. So let me ask Prabhupada. Now, this transgression has occurred very severely, and there's a lot of people who are on his case. But I would like to know, what is your input on this whole issue, Yashodanand Prabhu? And I'm sure you've come across this in Hindi, this transgression had occurred, and how this fall down continues on. And hence, we are warning everybody, whoever can, that please try to follow Srila Prabhupada and not anybody else. So, what are your thoughts, Yashodanand Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
I think you're raising some very important point. This is very similar to a statement that had been made by an ISKCON scholar in San Diego during the so-called Ritvik debate, in which he complained that you people are arguing like Prabhupada is present right now. And he said, well, why don't you send a letter to Prabhupada and see what he replies? And my reply to this offensive statement, because I was not allowed to really debate like that, my reply would have been, why don't you offer Krishna some prasadam, some boga, and see if it's still there after 15 minutes? Do you conclude there's no Krishna because the plate is still on the altar? You know, this is veiled atheism or blatant atheism on the part of Amogalila, who is following these leaders, who are basically, they want Prabhupada's institution, they want to utilize Prabhupada's assets, but they don't want Prabhupada. Prabhupada used to complain. This is like people who want Ram Rajya, the kingdom of Rama, without Lord Rama himself. And this is shown about their ignorance about the spiritual master. That deity of Prabhupada, Prabhupada is directly present in that deity, just like Krishna is directly present in the deity on the altar. Now, those who are atheistic cannot understand this. The faithless, the atheists, the agnostics, they do not accept this. Unfortunately, our Amogalila falls into that category. He's been victimized by the false propaganda that Prabhupada is not available. He's dead and gone. He's not, you know, that is all over YouTube. There's been a very good refutation of that nonsense video by Amogalila by a devotee named Suvyakta Nrsimha Das from ISKCON Bangalore. And the reason I say this, I listened to the whole video and he was making some very good points. Very, very good points, because this is expose their nonsense mentality. How can Prabhupada give initiation? First of all, how does Prabhupada define initiation? How does Prabhupada define what is the deity of the spiritual master? How he's present in the deity? How Krishna is present in the deity? How the spiritual master is always present in his picture? So these points are very difficult to understand for those who are in the bodily conception of life, gross bodily consciousness, GBC, or the Gunda Bully Commission, GBC, with their threats, and they're not. That's why they don't want to discuss, because their nonsense contradictions would be exposed. I suggest to everybody, go on Facebook, and you can type either ISKCON Bangalore or Suvyakta Nrsimha and see his reply to the nonsense atheistic contradictions of this Amogalila. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yes. This court case, by the way, Neela Sharma Prabhu, has provoked a a huge debate, not only about the legality of the case, who owns the property or who doesn't own the property, and it's been determined by the judge that ISKCON Bangalore owns the property, but it's brought up the whole issue of Ritvik, the principle of Ritvik initiation. And people are using the term Ritvikism, like communism or socialism or capitalism. Ritvikism, it's a concoction. And as a result, we're seeing there are so many sectarian groups that are evolving now, both in the Ritvik, I'm using the term, Ritvik camps. We're not Ritviks, as all of us know. I won't explain it. We're Prabhupada disciples using the Ritvik system. But there are so many different Ritvik camps that are emerging now, and they're in conflict. There is no unity, no harmony. There's so much confusion that's been created by this ISKCON elected guru system. They have perpetrated this fraud totally, and it's confusing for a lot of people. And it's unfortunate. And I wanted to ask a question, if I could, to you, Neela Sharma. I understand that, because we did a session this week about the principle of Mayavadi philosophy. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but went through a detailed discussion about Mayavadi philosophy and how we, as the Prabhupada Disciples Association, have nothing to do with Mayavadi philosophy. Nothing, because it's poisonous. And we know that. You know that, I know that. Recently, I heard from others, and I wanted clarification on it. Were they using, at ISKCON Bangalore, the leverage of supporting, what's his name now? What's that Mayavadi? Yashodanandana. What's that? Vivekananda.
Vivekananda.
Yeah, that's it.
Swami Vivekananda.
Yeah. Were they using that leverage to get support from the government for their food distribution program? I'm just asking. I don't know. Maybe you could clarify that for us.
I have never heard anything in comparison with Swami Vivekananda or anything of that sort. They have always tried to follow Prabhupada's principles. In fact, if you go to any of their Akshaya Patra kitchens,
Yes.
you will always see a small little temple, a deity of Radha Krishna over there, with Srila Prabhupada in there, where before it is dispatched to the different schools, a little bit of prasadam bhoga is always offered, and then the distribution goes about it. So I have never heard about Swami Vivekananda being cited or being used as leverage for any kind of purposes. So in fact, there was a huge controversy with one of the chief ministers in Telangana, where they wanted to serve eggs and things like that. And they said categorically, no, we cannot do that. So they do stick to it. And I would encourage not just to listen to us and accept our words, but when anybody has an opportunity to go to India, please visit one of the kitchens of Akshaya Patra. Anyone will give you a tour of it. And you need to ask these questions and then see it for yourself. Don't rely on me. Don't rely on Vishwakarma Prabhu or Yashodanand Prabhu. Go yourself and look at it yourself. Yeah. And I have pictures since 2012 when I've toured these Akshaya Patra kitchen in Vrindavan, in Jaipur, so many places.
I went to the Akshaya Patra temple in Jaipur.
Okay.
And I can confirm that's true. They're very strictly following. The standards are very good. Not only spiritually, but also materially, very, very high standards.
That's excellent. I think the real point that we want to make is we're looking for unification, because when all these groups work together, if we can all find a common ground, we'll become a very powerful instrument in protecting Prabhupada's legacy. But this sectarian situation that's evolving is not helpful for anyone or the mission of Srila Prabhupada or the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Yes, Neela Sharma, go ahead.
Prabhuji, just exactly echoing your thoughts. I encourage you and everybody on this platform to watch this video on YouTube again, which is the Vijayotsav, where they are celebrating the victory of this Supreme Court ruling, where Madhu Pandit Prabhu offers another position where it says, we have won this case, but still we would like to have ISKCON all under one roof, provided you will accept what you call our philosophy of keeping Prabhupada as the only Shiksha and Diksha Guru. Not only ISKCON Bangalore, but I will take all the temples associated with ISKCON Bangalore and put it into under the ISKCON banner, provided we will do that. So you should watch that video of Vijay Utsav.
I've seen it, by the way. And I did have a comment from one of his friends, I'm not going to mention a name, that he thought that it was a ploy, just a simple ploy by Madhu Pandit to deal with them. Because, you know, think about it, Prabhu. If they do that, that means they do not believe that their guru system of elected guru by the GBC is valid, and everything will fall down. It's simply a ploy to get them to acquiesce on the basis of a building. It's all it is a building. Go ahead.
Correct. Yeah, but the idea is for others who don't know about this whole clash, they need to understand that this clash is nothing to do with property. It is all to do with the guru issue itself.
It is.
Bringing back Prabhupada in the center. And this is the crux of it. And as you say that, you know, those are they are motivated materially. Who is motivated materially? It is for the common person to understand. And you know it, I know it. Yashodanand Prabhu has been fighting this battle for decades, you know. But
Yeah.
the neophyte who comes into this picture is like, why are these people fighting? They need to understand.
Well, the thing is, this is the nature of material world. There will be confusion. That's it. And we can see all the confusion. And we're doing the analysis for everyone's benefit and get a deeper understanding. So carry on. Yashodanandana, maybe you could share some further insights into this discussion.
Well, in a sense of fairness to ISKCON Bangalore, because they do not have a representative here, on their Akshaya Patra propaganda, at one point, they had a picture of Vivekananda, along with a statement of Vivekananda. So that was objected by some Prabhupada disciples. They're also distributing a book by one Sengal Gupta called Sing, Dance, and Pray, in which Prabhupada is compared to Vivekananda. Prabhupada's name is affiliated with Vivekananda. Now, when the Krishna book was being published in 1969, Shyama went to George Harrison of the Beatles, and he requested him to give a donation. And George Harrison was going to rewrite a foreword to the Krishna book. In that original foreword, there was mention of Vivekananda, and there's a letter on the Prabhupada letter book that Prabhupada objected very strongly to the idea of having his name being affiliated with Vivekananda in any way, shape, or form. Now, I'm assuming that ISKCON Bangalore may have some reply to that, but let me assure you all, Prabhupada did not want his name to be affiliated with Vivekananda. Vivekananda does not represent Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, and Prabhupada did not want him affiliated with that. That is something they have to work to clear up. Now, I understand that sometimes people may write books trying to glorify Prabhupada, but you can't glorify Prabhupada in a way that contradicts Prabhupada's wishes not to be affiliated with certain personalities. Now, we have no objection if ISKCON Bangalore say that they offer the prasadam, whatever. There's a lot of concern about videos they have produced, books they have produced, statements they have made, but this is not the time for these discussions. Right now, as Vishwakarma has mentioned, what should happen is devotees should try to present a platform for unity and cooperation so that they can present Prabhupada's wishes for reuniting his society, something that the ISKCON group does not want to do. because they're attached to enjoying the spoils of their position. That's why they constantly attack the devotees who support and advocate Prabhupada's final order for initiations, as Prabhupada has given in his July 9th letter in 1977. They do not accept that. They concoct that they follow the disciplic succession, but you can't be disobeying the order of the Acharya and simultaneously claim that you follow the tradition. There's no such tradition. Our only tradition is to follow the order of the spiritual master. And the Ritvik system of initiation was Srila Prabhupada's final order for his society. They say, oh no, this is not right. Okay, come and debate it. Show us when you were appointed as an initiating guru by Srila Prabhupada. And people say, well, you always say the same argument, because that is what you've claimed in 1978, that you had been appointed by Srila Prabhupada as an initiating guru, as a successor guru. When were you appointed? Prove it to the whole world. They can't, because it doesn't exist. Leave it at that. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, the thing is this, that there is a lot of differences, Neil Sharma, between these so-called Ritvik groups. In fact, in a lot of cases, some of these people are trying to become their own Ritvik guru type idea, that they want to be a leader, but with this principle of Ritvik philosophy as their position in the legitimacy of the matter. We're legitimate. I'm legitimate leader of our group because I promote the Ritvik system and I'm the Ritvik person. So this goes on in all these sectarian groups. There's only one correct understanding. And a lot of times these Ritvik groups or these people that present it fail to stress the Vani incarnation as the principle by which we operate at the PDA Hare Krishna Society organization. Yes, Vani incarnation is the principle, that Prabhupada lives in sound. And we should all take shelter of that principle as the common denominator. If you don't have a common denominator, you cannot add or subtract fractions, can you? You can't do a quarter and a half. It doesn't work. So in the same way, we have to have a common understanding. Do we have it? No. And this whole thing, and I spoke about this the other day, if you go to these programs, you'll see it. Prabhupada said, after the disappearance of the pure devotee, there would be chaos. Now, I never really understood that point of chaos. You know, Prabhupada left in 77. I was alive then. And now it's 2025. By Krishna's grace, we're still here. How much chaos is it now, Neil Sharma? How much confusion is it now? There's so much information about West Bengal, the corporation. And Madhu Pandit was a part of that organization, if you know. And his name was fraudulently put on the document that was organized by that group, fraudulently. But it still hasn't been exposed. We don't know who he took initiation from. Do you? How did he get his initiation as a Prabhupada disciple? Neil Sharma, do you have an answer? You might know better. I don't know. I know he presents the Ritvik system, but is the name Madhu Pandit come from Jayapataka, or is it a different name that he received? Neela.
I have no idea. I have no idea about that. But
Maybe we should investigate that just to see. Not that it's,
I know.
Look, he's a Prabhupada disciple. We're not denying that. But these are technical issues. Go ahead.
I know the answer to that. The name was given by JPS, and he was his personal assistant for a little while. And one time my parents actually gave him a ride from Buffalo to Toronto to the Toronto temple.
Who you did?
No, my parents.
Oh, your parents. Okay. Okay. These are technical issues. This is not a slight on them at all. But we want to unify, and we have to find a common grounds for that philosophical position so that we're speaking with the same voice. We're all, there's a song that we recorded many years ago. We're all singing the same song. We're not. There's a lot of controversy. Go ahead, Neela.
Prabhuji, there's another rumor which is floating, which is going around, that the July 9th, 1977 letter has been not written by Prabhupada, but it was written by Tamal Krishna Goswami himself. And so this whole thing is just a made-up situation. What do you have to say about this rumor?
I'd like Yashodanandana to respond to that, please.
And who signed the letter?
Yeah, they say Srila Prabhupada signed it, but he said that he just put it in and Srila Prabhupada just signed it, but it was actually devised by Tamal Krishna. This is the rumor which is going on.
That's
And a lot of-
incorrect. I just saw a video. He signed the letter. Tamal said, I signed the letter. He got approved. He's claiming he had approval from Prabhupada to do it. Yashodanandana, please.
So do they mean that Prabhupada signed something without looking at it, without approving it, without analyzing it, that he just signed something without... Let me give you an example. There are many letters in the Prabhupada conversation book that were signed by Prabhupada's personal servants or secretaries. That famous letter in October of 1975, when Prabhupada said, don't go to the Gaudiya Math, don't associate with them, that was sent by Brahmananda Swami on behalf of Prabhupada. It was approved by Prabhupada. There was a letter in 1974, a memo to all ISKCON temples saying that Prabhupada's name as the founder Acharya of ISKCON should be on all letterhead, all buildings and everything. That was also sent by a secretary. So there were similar letters that were sent that were approved by Srila Prabhupada, and they were sent to all of ISKCON as different directives, different instructions. Now, that letter was approved by Srila Prabhupada, and after that letter, there's a video that's been circulating on Facebook where they had a conversation with Srila Prabhupada on the 19th of July, because people say, oh, that letter just means that this was only meant to be while Prabhupada was living. But that letter doesn't say that. So Srila Prabhupada, on the 19th of July, he sent a notice to Hamsaduta that continued to become a ritvik and act on my charge. So Prabhupada said to continue it. Well, where is the continuation of this idea that these people were going to be Diksha Gurus or initiating Acharya? Where is that record of Prabhupada mentioning that anywhere after that July 9th? It doesn't exist. Even Tamal confirmed that. On Topanga Canyon Conversation on the 3rd of December, 1980 in California, Tamal, who had been suspended for preaching that, oh, nobody could understand Prabhupada except through him, he was suspended, and he admitted that this idea that Prabhupada appointed gurus was a myth, fiction. So they say so many things, but they can't prove their point. That Prabhupada, there is no record in 1977 of Prabhupada ever ordering any of these original 11 or any disciple as a Diksha Guru. If somebody can find this record, send it to us. We'll discuss it. Now, there's a lot of different interpretations that we see. Record, written record. Show us the record where Prabhupada appointed them. Then we'll believe them. Hare Krishna.
Well, this is the ongoing debate amongst thousands of people, actually. It's not between one person. And I wanted to call upon Bhakta Ron Singh. I find him a very philosophically person. Oh yeah, there's somebody talking. That's okay. It sounds like a child.
My son.
Okay.
My son. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So
He's interested.
thank you very
Go
much.
ahead.
Thank
Go
you
ahead,
very
please.
much. He's here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
This
ahead.
is very very interesting discussions on all levels, from the management of the system to the various Ritwik camps and how they're functioning. And I think here, at least, we can see that there's various devotees who actually participated in the manifest pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, establishing temples, opening temples. They have personal guidance from Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, this group here, at least I can say that I'm not really sure how many official Prabhupada disciples, just for lack of a better term, who actually participated in helping starting the movement are present in their groups. Here we have Yashodanandana, Vishwakarma, Dharma Bhavana, and various other devotees who have established temples and centers. And we're directly engaged in serving Srila Prabhupada's direct instructions on how the movement has to continue and how Prabhupada had it done in the early 1970s and 60s when he was manifesting this Krishna consciousness movement in every town and village. He had various senior devotees taking leadership in that institution called ISKCON. So now, if we go to those documents and try to understand what actually Srila Prabhupada wanted and try to communicate this with the various groups and then come up with a proper understanding where this Krishna consciousness movement spreads in every town and village. So it's up to the disciple to figure all these things out, because Prabhupada has already given all these instructions. So it's up to the individual devotees here to understand and then propagate the real truth according to what Prabhupada had originally wanted. So thank you very much to Vishwakarma Yashodanandan for spearheading this program and opening up the discussion. This is also being recorded online, so devotees can question us. They can send us emails. What are you guys talking about? What instruction is this? And we're willing to help them understand all these things. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a Ram Raghava. You can see how complex the issue is. The conspiracy by the ambitious people from America. This was all founded in American culture, and in these people that join the mission, like a Tamal, like a Keith Ham, like a Steve, like Howard from Krishna West, all these people, and they're perpetrating this conspiracy. And we are working to resolve the mystery. It's complex. Now, some would say we're discussing it. Just see, Veronica, how many different angles of approach are brought up even in this one dialogue. This thing, this Shastra, this opinion, this and that. So many things. But be rest assured, everyone, that if you follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga on your own, you chant Hare Krishna, you accept Prabhupada as your guru, that you're chanting your 16 rounds, you're studying his unedited books, and you're following the 4 regulated principles, and you're helping to preach Krishna consciousness to your family and friends, you'll be blessed by Lord Chaitanya with an understanding, a real understanding of what this opportunity is in front of you. That's what we're looking for. For each individual to understand this opportunity and take it up with all seriousness. And institutionalization, just quickly, and we'll end up the program. Ram, Neela Shama, having been involved in the ISKCON institution and, some success in it, there is a great problem when you set up an institution. Prabhupada, when you see Prabhupada's evolution of the ISKCON movement, it was fraught with a lot of difficulty with the people that he was working with. In fact, the expression kill guru, become guru is apparent in their behavior. Romeshwar, and the rest of the gang, Tamal. And that's all that this has happened. And yet people now in 2025 are completely confused by this propaganda machine. It's a big machine. If you see how they operate, they have billions. I'm going to say it. They have billions of dollars. They've raised billions of dollars. This is not a small thing. And we're a small group, humbly working together to try to spread the truth to others. And there'll always be some kind of conflict that's going on. But we will take shelter of Prabhupada's message and Lord Krishna's message and march on in the battle of establishing the truth in the ISKCON world that Srila Prabhupada created. Ram Raghava, a last comment. How many people are on the YouTube channel today?
Hare Krishna, there were up to 19 people at one time. Right now there are
Wow.
18 people. No questions.
19, so that's 20, 28. I think there were 29 on the participants.
Yeah, there were 29.
So you're smart. You're such a smart guy.
Oh,
29 and 19. So
now there's 20, so 49 people altogether.
Good. I'm just glad because the message is getting out and it's spreading. Last night I was on Reels on Facebook, and our class came up on the Reels. So I thought, well, let me listen to it. And it was a recent class, and I had to tolerate hearing myself and try to figure out how I could be a better participant. But nonetheless, we'll carry on. And tomorrow we'll be back with the Srimad Bhagavatam reading and discussion from the original Delhi Bhagavatams, which we are excited to make some announcements within a few weeks in those regards. And everyone will start to be able to distribute them. And we'll go forward with tomorrow's class and discuss the philosophy and continue to churn the ocean of understanding amongst us ourselves as the demigods appear in these classes, and the blessings of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada are with us as we march forward to give this deep understanding of the absolute truth according to the proper understanding of Guru Tattva that Prabhupada lives in sound. All glories to the Sankirtan movement. We're going to have a chant with Srila Prabhupada for 2 minutes, and I'm almost forgetting 54 seconds. Is that correct? Yeah. So stick on, chant with us, and then Yashodananda will wind up the program with his final comments. Hare Bo, Prabhus.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarobhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaham. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and we're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks, everybody, for participating in this reading and discussion. Thanks, Vishwakarma Prabhu in Yautepec, Mexico, Ram Raghava Prabhu in Brighton, Georgia, and Neil Sharma Prabhu with that beautiful picture of Krishna and Arjuna and Srila Prabhupada behind himself. In Florida, Krishna Katha in San Diego, Vijay Padit in Douauville, Italy, Rochisa Mataji dans la belle province de Quebec, Triloka Vijay in Alachua, Florida, Bhakti Ron Singh in Oroville, California, Bhakti and Amber in Texas, and everybody participating in this library program, not to forget Dharma Bhavana in Texas and Rupa Goswami in Bombay. Thanks everybody for participating. Please come and participate tomorrow morning from Srimad Bhagavatam class at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 o'clock Eastern Born Time. I see that there's different links that have been put by Rupa Goswami with regards to our programs and everything else. Thanks everybody for participating, and join us for 2 minutes with a very nice kirtan with some Jamaican devotees. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,